The ProdBox brings experiences from myself, industry professionals, colleagues, senior leaders, and discussions on key topics within the product management and technology space from a player and coaching point of view, aiming to help us all learn and succeed in building great product management teams, resulting in great software products. So welcome and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe or join our mailing list at theprodbox.co.uk. Hello everyone, and welcome to a bonus episode of the ProdBox. In this episode, the tables are slightly turned as I was invited to have a chat with PGS Software, a development house in Poland, to talk a little bit about me, a little bit about the ProdBox, offshore teams working with UK teams, specifically how their product function works with their customers' product teams, and generally about product management. So here you go and enjoy.
Ladies, I'm very happy. We should meet for a cup of tea today. I've got my tea with me as well. Here.
My tea.
And I wanted to speak about something which is extremely interesting for us. It is especially interesting for product owners and product managers.
I've been in product management for around 9 years, and I think really key for me is that I'm passionate about what I do. I enjoy what I do. I love creating products. I love creating products that customers love. The process of creating products, so doing user research, usability testing, the design aspect, and actually solving problems, because that's really key to product management, is understanding your customer or user's problems and solving them. And, throughout my career, I've had a number of roles. I've had product owner roles, product manager roles, now head of product delivery at Big Hand. And, each of those roles has had different impacts and different challenges. But, I've enjoyed that journey. And I think it's just my passion, determination, and just having fun with it, just really enjoying what I do. And that's, one of the reasons why I wanted to start the ProdBox, is to share that knowledge as well.
Okay, so was the product owner the first role you had when you entered the whole IT environment, or?
Well, actually, funnily enough, I started, the first role in product management I had was as an assistant product manager. And at that time, the company that I was working for was not working in an agile way. We were working in a very waterfall way. So, functional specification documents, BRDs, business requirements documents, very much we're going to build this thing and it take you however long to build it, then you deploy it. So it was very different to how we work now. And, the agility of development teams is, apparent. Everybody is moving to that way of working and moving from waterfall to a more agile way. So funnily enough, it wasn't a product owner role, but it's very soon after I started as an assistant product manager, we then started to think about working in a more agile way, and then adopted Scrum. And then I entered into the realm of product ownership.
Okay, I'm just asking because I think I've never met anybody who started with the product management from the scratch. Like usually people just evolve, like they enter IT being developers. I myself started as a developer, and then you just sway into some other direction. So that's curious. So
yeah.
Focused
straight in product management and I haven't left. So, and I've loved it.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so obviously we wanted to ask you, what was your main driver to start the podcast?
Yeah, so I decided to start the podcast because we know that 2020 has been a very crazy year. It's with COVID and, a lot of things have been happening this year. And I've had more time to think about, how I can give back and how I can do more with what I enjoy, which is product management. So I'm a fan of learning and sharing knowledge. And I really wanted the ProdBox to reflect that. So as I said, I enjoy what I do, and I just want to share that passion with others. I like to learn new ways of working. So the aim was to share those ways of working and invite guests along to share ways of working that have worked for them in the past or not so much, and just share experiences so we can all learn. And the ProdBox is aimed at those who are, wanting to start out in product management or maybe thinking about making the move. But then also, I would want to attract people who are working in product management as a product manager or a product owner as well, just to share the knowledge and to learn. And while I learn, to share what I learn, and hopefully they get something out of it.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we're mentioning product ownership and product management all the way, but perhaps it's not so clear definition for everybody. So maybe you could, as an expert, share like what does it mean for you to act as a product manager, product owner?
Well, this is the discussion. It's quite a common discussion in the product space at the moment. And funnily enough, the first episode of the ProdBox is product owner versus product manager. So, a bite-sized 20-minute episode, just exploring the differences between the two. And I think ultimately, when we're looking at both roles, it's tactical versus strategic, in my opinion. So the product owner role, it's very focused around Agile and the Scrum way of working. That's where the product owner was kind of birthed from. And it's focusing on, prioritizing your backlog, working with your stakeholders, being the voice of the customer for your development team, for stakeholders throughout the business, and really trying to get everyone rallied around your vision and prioritizing your backlog. And I think as it's a more tactical role, when you compare it to the product manager role, which is a more strategic and commercial role, thinking about why are we building what we're building, and really understanding the research. So researching the market, looking at value proposition, turning that into, why we're doing what we're doing, understanding the business problem. But then, there is a bit of an overlap between the two roles, because both roles need to understand the market direction, need to understand the customer problem, need to speak to customers, working on qualitative and quantitative data. So there is a bit of an overlap, and you may find in some organizations the product manager does both roles, the product owner may do both roles, or there exists a product owner and product manager in an organization. So it really is what works for your organization, but it does boil down to tactical versus strategic. So the what versus the why when we're looking at product owner versus product manager.
I also remember, I think you mentioned in the episode that the easy way to differentiate is if you bear with budget and money, you are like, this is an easy way to say you're the product manager, like more committing to this role. And the other way around is, as you said, like being more hands-on with the team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. That's definitely right, because you have to understand, how do you measure success of your products? But both roles have to do that. But often enough, a product manager is responsible for, the P&L for the product. It might not be the case in some organizations, but often you will see that they are responsible for the product. They are the product's CEO. So trying to understand, how is our product successful, and how can we ensure that it is going to be?
Okay. So
what is also curious for me, because I work a lot with clients and our partners, and I'm trying to understand how to help them work with us in a very good way, in a product way, in a partnership way. And I'm very curious about the most common problems that product owners face, that we could also address, and if you see that there are any ways we could also help product owners in their work.
And there's a plethora of problems that our product owners face day to day. And, I think it can range from, you've got conflicting priorities, and that might be from the market or your customers or users, but then also internally your stakeholders. So really trying to understand that prioritization which can sometimes be a little tricky. So there are a number of tools which you can use to help you to do that. And especially when you're prioritizing your backlog, but then also when looking at the longer term roadmap. So you're looking at, outcomes, looking at the value versus the cost, value versus risk, using different tools to really understand, are we doing the right thing and are we prioritizing the right thing, basically. Ensuring stakeholder alignment, so really getting the business to rally around the vision of the product, what you are doing, can sometimes be tricky because people expect different things, people want different things. As I often say, you can't build a product that satisfies everyone. You have to satisfy the majority of your customer segment or persona that you're building this product for. So it really can be one of the challenges as a product owner, but then also not having autonomy, because I feel as a product owner, you want to have ownership of that product. You want to feel like you do have autonomy and you're not being, really dictated to all the time about what should go into the product and why. You want to go on that journey of exploration yourself and feed into what needs to go into the product and what will make it successful.
Okay. This is from the episode you actually published on Wednesday, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Because you're listening to this podcast, and of course I'm taking out what's most actual for me, what's more current. And one of the things your guest mentioned was that it's so hard to focus on the problem rather than solution. So this is the top advice I take out. But what are do you have any other easy tips for a product owner to focus on daily? I don't know, put sticky notes on your wall, do not forget about it or something.
What's key for me is to just really remember that you are not the user, because sometimes we can get so wrapped up in our product that we know what's best for the user. But I think once you really rely on the research, so make sure you're doing that user research, whether it be interviews or focus groups or surveys or usability testing, whatever it may be, try to extract the journey for your product through research and through data. Every product that you build should have some sort of data analytics, so through Google Analytics, or if you're using Azure Analytics or anything like that, you should be able to bring out the quantitative data, but also match that with qualitative data. Talk to your customers is key for me, because otherwise you can't really validate what you're doing without doing that first. So really having questions are key, because you need to have questions or assumptions and turn those into hypotheses so you can test them, validate what you're doing, and really be confident that you're building the right thing for your customer. So I'll definitely think knowing that you are not the customer and relying on that data to show you if you're going in the right direction would be a key tip from me.
Okay. This is probably for another conversation, but what I always find the most challenging there is if you talk to the customer, how not to believe that this, especially in B2B products, how not to get overwhelmed by the specific customer and the whole priorities, and to remember that you're not building for a single user or customer for that case, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where segmentation comes in, because you can have many segments for that usual product, and they all have a different case. They all have a different problem that the product is solving. So have as many segments that you need, and focus on what each of those segments do need. There's a bank in the UK called Lloyds TSB, and I think they have over 100 segments. It just depends on what suits your organization and how many products you have and who you're trying to target. That's the key. Just remember who you're trying to build for. And as I mentioned earlier, you can't build for everyone. You can't satisfy every single user or customer, but you have to try and understand the problem so you can satisfy the majority.
Yep. That's right. That's what I'm going to put on my sticky notes. No, I'm asking because I work as a business analyst, and in PGS we don't have product owners. We usually have product owners on our client side.
Yeah.
But due to the nature of working, where we are mostly remote team, it is often, I'm not saying it's a rule, but it's happening that delivery manager together with business analysts are taking over a bit from the product owner, a bit becoming a product owner proxy because we're always there.
Yeah.
But the whole issue is, how can we as a extended team, how can we support the product owner? Are there any universal things to look at? Like, what do you expect from the perfect team to support you?
Yeah. I think with remote teams, they definitely are key in helping the acceleration of products and allowing features to be delivered quicker to our users, to our customers, and ensuring the thing is being built and the requirements are fully understood, facilitating and working with the remote development team. The team do become a close extension of the onshore teams, and you both work together to ensure that product success. So I think really key for, remote product ownership or, being a business analyst is understanding as well, because you're an extension of that product owner role with the teams that you're working with, on your customer side. It's really trying to understand the business problem. What are we trying to achieve with the product? Because I feel if you understand that, it will become easier to work together because you understand the problems, you understand the direction, and it becomes easier for you to kind of field those blockers with the development team on your side, and you are becoming that proxy, as you say, without needing to rely so much on the product owner because you understand the business problem and the solution yourself. And at the end of the day, it just becomes one big team working together and building products that customers love.
Yep, that's what we're aiming for. Like, we're aiming for, having the communication close. So we are actually a one team after all.
Yeah, exactly. And that's key. That's key when you're working with offshore or nearshore teams. Absolutely.
So what I understood from your chat is that the successful team probably is the team that works together on one.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And this is, Lucinda, how would you would, for example, define as a successful team? How would you build that kind of team? Is it a kind of role model that we, define a successful team that works together to achieve one goal? Or would you add something else also to that?
Absolutely. And, a part of what I love is building and scaling product teams. I think it's really, really important to have passionate people who are keen on building great products that customers love. They're interested in research and data and problem solvers. You have to be a problem solver. You have to want to solve a specific problem because that's what most of our products do. And I think, as you mentioned, it's really key to have a collaborative work ethic, be able to work as a team, enjoy that collaboration, but be able to work autonomously and work in a solo, because if you are a product owner, that you have to touch many aspects of an organization. You're working with sales, you're working with marketing, you're working with delivery teams, you're working with the development team, you're working with key stakeholders throughout the business. So communication is absolutely key as well. And I think ensuring the team is diverse, because different people from different backgrounds have different experiences, and this only contributes towards great software products in the
Okay, so to wrap it up, I think I have one more question, because obviously like the driver for us to meet was the ProdBox podcast, and I wanted to ask, why a podcast? Why did you choose this form of communication?
I think I prefer a podcast because I like talking. So I thought I'd talk, and rather do like a vlog or start a channel on like YouTube, I thought, let me just do a podcast. It's really easy. And I thought, let me just try something new. I like to talk. Hopefully you like listening to my voice and it's not annoying. or anything like that. So yeah, and I just chose that forum, and it seems that I've had feedback that people are enjoying it, which is great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I have one more question around the ProdBox, because you have on the ProdBox there are 3 episodes right now. Are you planning any more? And what are the potential topics that we can also expect?
Yes, so the next episode, which hopefully will be out in December, is going to be around agile transformation and product management. So if you are working in a waterfall way and you want to go through an agile transformation, we will be talking about. So I have a guest speaker for that episode. So we will be talking about some of the challenges, some of the things to think about when you're going through that transformation as product managers as well. And hopefully in the new year, there will be another on user experience and product management. So how to really understand user experience and design when it comes to product management.
Yeah, it seems like there is a lot
There's a lot coming. Yep. And there's going to be even more after that. So, watch this space.
Yeah, we are looking forward to listen to that.
Great.
Yeah. Yep, great. Okay, so the next one is the Agile transformation. I'm looking forward to it. And we're going to find ProdBox on its dedicated site, right? So what's the direction?
So the ProdBox podcast is available on all popular podcast platforms, so Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, TuneIn, Alexa, etc. So you'll find it on all the popular podcast sites. If you want to listen to the RSS feed, then just navigate to the ProdBox.co.uk and you can access the podcasts from there. If you want to get into contact with me, then you can go to my Instagram or Twitter, which is @theprodbox, or contact me on the ProdBox.co.uk or LinkedIn, of course, where you can just search for Cinder Forche and I should pop up.
Yep. So there's no way to miss it.
No way.
Okay, great.
Right.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this lovely chat today. And so we are looking forward to hearing more from you, Lucinda, to hear more of the ProdBox and more of the podcast. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and please share with others who may find it interesting or useful. And don't forget, you can subscribe to our mailing list at theprodbox.co.uk and join the conversation on Instagram or Twitter @theprodbox. See you on the other side.